Hey everyone, welcome to the Americana Station podcast. I am your host, Will Payne Harrison, and I'm so happy to be here. Sorry it's been a few weeks since the last episode, but it's been a little busy for me. Today on the podcast, we have Shay Martin Lovette, and he has a new record out called Scatter and Gather. It came out on May 15th. It's available on streaming, but it's also available on his website for purchase. You can pick up a copy of it on vinyl. His new record was produced by Joseph Terrell of Mipso, and Shay has been out on the road with Mipso a little bit, playing some opening gigs with them, and we're going to talk to him about his new record, and it's pretty exciting stuff, and really, really good stuff. So we're going to talk about that, and we also have a lot of really good up-and-coming musicians on the podcast. I have to apologize. It's been a busy month. In real life, I do have a real life outside of the podcast, and so I have gotten behind a little bit, but we do have Tall Paul coming out. I got to get Corby Linker on here, and Hannah Juanita, and Zach Wild, and there's some others in the pipeline that are we're working on right now. So it's really busy. I'm pretty booked up. And it's going to be a great summer, like I said, lots of great artists. So stick around for all of those, your new favorite artists. So we'll get back on the train here after the 4th of July, and we'll put them out on a regular basis. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Shay Martin Lovette and his new record, Scatter and Gather.
The bash comes to a crash again, out of substance and out of sight. Stole a Saturday to ride away out into that misty night. Offhand I let go of the wheel, lucky to miss the trees. I was aimless then, like my drifting friend, living on.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Americana Station podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today on the podcast, we have Shay Martin Lovette. He is from Boone, North Carolina, and he's got a new record out. And we're going to talk about it. How are you doing, man?
Doing great. Yeah. Finally warming up here in Boone, North Carolina. And it's just a beautiful spring afternoon. And here on Goshen Creek, it's a creek near my house here. And yeah. No complaints whatsoever. Feeling pretty optimistic. How about you?
Doing well. It's about 90, 95 degrees here in Nashville, so it's finally feeling like summer. It's kind of nice.
Wow. That's much warmer than it is here.
Yeah. Is that picture your promo picture from Goshen Creek?
It is. Yeah. I just why not make it easy and take some promo photos in the backyard? Why not? It's there's a creek running right. The creek runs right behind the house. So
that's awesome.
Just got out there on one beautiful afternoon. You got it.
So the new record is called Scatter and Gather. Is that correct?
It is.
Yeah, and it's 12 songs.
Yeah, 12 songs. 11 with lyrics and then one instrumental.
That's awesome. So are you influenced by the, kind of East Coast, like bluegrass and Appalachian culture at all in your music?
For sure. So growing up in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, I was introduced to bluegrass and folk, old time music at a young age, and grew up going to Merle Fest, which is a sort of a bluegrass, sort of traditional plus Americana, country, all things roots music festival that usually happens every year in April. And it was initially started to memorialize Merle Watson, Doc Watson's son, and a great musician and a picker in his own right. But yeah, I sort of was introduced to that at a young age and that type of music. And my dad also is a songwriter, and so as opposed to a lot of my friends who gravitated towards the instrumentation, which I do love the acoustic guitar, love string band music. I sort of fell into the other side of things, being sort of the songwriting and the songcraft side of that world.
Right. Yeah. And you can definitely hear that in the new album. It's really good stuff, man. How long have you been songwriting for?
So I've been kind of chipping away and really writing since I was in high school now. So about 15 years. For me, it's always been sort of a personal craft and something that I love to do. I'm really into short stories and really into just the mysteriousness of songwriting and that sort of thing. I've always gravitated towards just being able to, the idea that we can just kind of just pulling a melody out of thin air and kind of chasing the muse and going down a rabbit hole creatively and then coming out on the other side and you've got a song. So yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, I just really love about songwriting. Is just kind of that there's no right way to do it. There's no wrong way. There's some things that might help, but at the end of the day, every writer has their own sort of tricks of the trade, and they may be different every time. So it's fun.
Yeah. Did you have to narrow down the album? Were you like writing a lot more than was actually on the record, or were you very like selecting the songwriting, just kind of writing for the record?
Yeah, for sure. When I go in to record a record, I do always I try to have more than what I think I need, and that was the case here. So my good friend Joseph Terrell and the band Mipso produced the record, and so I played him probably close to 20 songs, and then sort of narrowed it down from there, and sort of landed on this batch of 12, which it was fun for me to kind of trust, just kind of lean in and then kind of turn these songs over to Joseph, and then kind of trust his process, and then hop into the studio and try to take them a little further. As they were written with just me and an acoustic guitar here in Boone, it was really fun to flesh those out in the studio.
Who were some of the people that were in the session with you?
Yeah, well, my one of my really good friends and regular touring buddies, Aaron Balance, played lap steel and dobro. And several members of Mipso, including Joseph. So Joseph played guitar and sang some harmony, and Libby Rodenbow, also in Mipso, played fiddle and some strings on on one tune. And Wood Robinson from Mipso played bass. Casey Toll played bass, another just amazing groover and bass player. And then Jan Westerlin, who is Mipso's touring drummer, percussionist, played drums. Was also really happy to have and honored to have Andrew Marlin of Watch House, which that was formerly Mandolin Orange, play mandolin on a couple songs. So really just an amazing cast of North Carolina talent, and that was all thanks to Joseph kind of roping most of those folks in, and we just had so much fun in the studio from song to song. It was just a blast all the way through it.
That's amazing. Yeah, that sounds like an incredible lineup of musicians to be able to choose from. I saw that Joseph from Mipso had produced the record. How did that come about? Did you approach him, or did he offer? How was the situation?
That sort of came about organically. Really, we just tying it all back into to Wilkesboro, where I grew up in Merle Fest. I had met Joseph performing at Merle Fest between sets, and sort of just quickly traded contact, and then sort of became songwriter pen pals, so to speak. Sharing music and stuff with each other. And then eventually, when Joseph was back off the road from tour, we would get up in Chapel Hill at his house. He had actually at the time was living right next door to the Rubber Room studio where the album was tracked. And so so, what we would we would kind of get together, and he would share some tunes that he was working on, and I would do the same. And yeah, we would just kind of, just hang out. And then, one day Joseph was just saying, we ought to jump in the studio sometime and try to record a couple tunes. And so we walked over to the Rubber Room, which is, like I was saying, was a stone's throw away. It's actually connected to, at the time was connected to Joseph's house. And we're able, and just hopped in and recorded Scatter and Gather and For Rosemary, a couple of the tunes on the record. And pretty quickly after that, we just kind of kept recording. Soon enough, we had 6 tunes, and then we would kind of chunk away at the record whenever Joseph would be back in town. So I feel like that not like really tearing through it and tracking it all in just a few days, or kind of helped us to kind of gain more perspective throughout the recording process, and kind of hone in on kind of the overarching kind of sound of the record and that sort of thing, which was cool.
Do you have a favorite track?
I don't. If it's one of those things, as a songwriter, for me, I feel like I'm way too close to the songs, and it's tough. It's really tough to choose. I've had so much fun with these tunes now, and really excited to perform them live. So that's one way to kind of hone in on a favorite song. Is maybe not so much as a favorite, but I may have a favorite live song when I finally get to play them live next month, supporting Mipso on a few dates in North Carolina and Virginia.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was going to bring that up. I saw that you were going on the road with them for a little bit. Are you doing any more any more tours beyond that?
We've got some things in the works. No confirmed dates to speak of right now. We're kind of holding out for the fall to do some official album release stuff.
Nice.
So more to come on that, but so just kind of some stuff in the works now, and just hoping to be able to get out and about as much as possible in the fall to really sort of hit the album release trail then. But just fortunate to have my friends in Mipso asked me to tag along for a few of these dates, and it sounds and one of them is one of my favorite venues ever, and it's up on the Blue Ridge Parkway at the Blue Ridge Music Center in Galax, Virginia, and that'll be the last date of that little run there on a Saturday. So I'm really looking forward to being up there. That's a venue that's ran by the National Park Service, and it's just a most beautiful outdoor venue, and so that'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, that sounds like a treat. Hopefully, if anyone's listening that's out that way, you should definitely go check out that show. What's the date on it?
It is June 26th, and that's a Saturday, I believe. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really great, man. Have you been touring much in the past, or are you just kind of starting to slowly get out there now that you got the new record out?
Yeah. So when I put my first record, Swift Drifter, out, I got around and toured as much as possible across the Southeast and all sorts of different configurations, some full band, some duo and trio, and then some solo shows. So really, was pretty busy in 2019, touring around and played about close to 100 shows that year. I was able to get out to Austin, Texas, and in Denver, or Colorado, in Boulder, to play a few shows, but mostly regionals in Southeast on those shows. So it was then of course an abrupt halt to all things touring, and
right.
And I just feel so fortunate to have had this album, had the time to work on this album, and also to be able to write. My goal is to also ideally to have some new music, if only just a single or two to release in the fall. So, I tried to use the time away from live music as wisely as I could, and just kind of chip away at writing and get outside and find and find ways to stay inspired.
Yeah, that's super awesome. When you write your songs, do you have a specific process to it? Like, do the lyrics come first usually, or is it just kind of a different situation every time?
Yeah, I feel like when I first started writing, I feel like it would start with lyrics more so than I do now. I'm not sure. I guess the process has just evolved for me. I do find that, that writing can come from, it can happen so many different ways. I'm a big short story reader, and yeah, just try to fill my head with short stories. So a lot of times those can inspire me to write. Also, a big note taker, of course. In this day and age, it's the notes on your phone are just a swipe away. So I'm always typing conversation, little phrases down, and that sort of thing. But I would say in the instances that those come, that lyrics come first for me, it's when I've actually, just kind of scrolling through my deep well of just random phrases and things that I've typed out or heard or just thought up, driving around or not driving around. Don't text and drive, y'all.
That's when you use the voice memo.
There we go. We go. Well, and then, but yeah, I would say for the most part, other than those sort of instances when it's coming off of something that I've probably typed down on my phone or maybe a piece of an old song, for the most part, I'm sitting down with an acoustic guitar and honing in on the music, and then vocally I'll try to lock in on a melody that I really that I just kind of keep playing over and over again. Sometimes it's just one of those things where it'll be a progression that'll trigger something in my brain, and I'll pull out a melody from that, and then that melody combined with the music will kind of trigger an emotional response in my mind, and then that's when the wheels start turning, and whatever that feeling may be would usually guide the lyrics that start to turn around and end up on a page. But yeah, that's sort of the nuts and bolts process of how I've been writing for the last few years anyway. For the most part, there's always, like I said, those anomalies, and by having just a lyric first or a song title in mind first, and then building a kind of a structure around that.
Yeah, you said you kind of had a love for reading too. I noticed in your bio it talks about like Kurt Vonnegut, and so some of these people I don't know. We got Flannery O'Connor and John Cheever and Ron Rash or some influence.
Yeah. Definitely. I touched on that a little bit earlier. Those are all some of them, just my novelists, but really the short story side of writing for me has always been really interesting. I think as a songwriter, I'm sort of biased on the weight that the words need to carry in a short story, and I also try to do the same thing in a song. Just with just a few minutes of lyric, melody, and rhyme, try to hone in on and be able to sort of have it feel done at the end. So I really try to study those particular writers that you mentioned. And Ron Rash is actually based in North Carolina, and writes specifically on like you're saying, sort of the traditional ways of life in those time periods and about Appalachia. And so naturally, living in Western North Carolina here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, his writing is right up my alley. So it's always fun to go back and revisit his collections of short stories.
That's awesome. So it also mentions in your bio a little bit about Townes Van Zandt and Bob Dylan. Are those just comparisons, or are those actual people that have influenced you as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like just like those, some of those just amazing writers from a literary standpoint, I feel like those guys sort of set the bar for me.
Totally.
So it's definitely something that I'll never get tired of, is hearing those guys and just their songcraft and yeah, there's so much, you can listen to a Bob Dylan song over and over again. Same with Townes and Neil Young and those guys. You can listen to those songs over and over again and discover something new each time. They've always been huge inspirations for me. And also just, I love that their catalogs, their expanse of experimentation and genre, from folk rock to sort of acoustic stuff and roots, all things in between. That's right up my alley. And I love all that. So it's, just, those are sort of my heroes. So I had to mention them.
Yeah, they're sort of the blueprint for, singer-songwriters, because both, Townes and Dylan, were not only, prolific songwriters in their own right, but so much so that so many other people were covering their songs and you don't even know it, and that's like super awesome place to be for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. So what does the kind of the rest of your year look like? I know you said you're still kind of planning the tour and stuff like that. Are you planning to come to Americana Fest here in Nashville? Have you been to Nashville before?
I have. I love Nashville, and I have not been in a while. It's been, I guess, over a year now. But yeah, that is the plan. I'm to be at Americana Fest right now. I've never been, and I'm hoping this year to make it. And there's so many. That's right up my alley. Those the folks that play there, I've always kind of kept track of it from afar. So hoping to finally be there in person this year.
Man, that's exciting news, man. You should get Mipso to back you up on the on your show when you play.
Yeah. I'm hopeful that I'll be playing. We'll see. I may just be there to hang out and network around and hang out with some friends, but we'll see.
They really like to make you bite your nails at Americana Fest on whether you're getting in or not.
Yeah, that's the feeling. That's the feeling it's a nail biter for sure. I'm hoping to hone in and find out before too long.
That's awesome.
Took freedom down the boulevard.
Have you been working from home and trying to improve your home studio? I want to talk to you today about soundproofyourstudio.com. They help create your dream home studio. I know with COVID, it's hard to get out and go to a regular studio, and a lot of us have been building up our home studios. And if you sign up, they give you a free soundproofing course, and you get 10 secrets to pro recordings and mixes. Not only that, but I was also sent a studio build checklist for signing up. So make sure you go to soundproofyourstudio.com. That's soundproofyourstudio.com today. Are you a fan of Americana music and you want to hear the latest and greatest reviews and opinions on the up-and-coming artists in the scene? Well, then you need to visit americanahighways.org. That's americanahighways.org for reviews like Crown Over by yours truly and playlists like the Backroads playlist by yours truly. There's lots of great reviews on there, and you should check it out, americanahighways.org. And now back to the interview. I do have a question that this is, I think, something that a lot of people are on their way up, but haven't really, found a very large audience to support that yet. Are you planning on putting this on vinyl? Because I know it's so expensive to do.
Yeah, actually, I have it on vinyl. I did a limited run through a pressing plant in Athens, Georgia, and Kindercore in Athens. They're great guys, and so I was able to swing a couple hundred records. So very limited pressing. But yeah, I love vinyl, and so I feel lucky that I was able to do that. I was able to sort of hold some money away pre-pandemic from touring, and kind of to have the budget to afford vinyl in the in that sort of thing for this record, and so feel lucky to be able to have those. And yeah, it's one of those things that for me as a sort of a being really close and try, or at least I try to be in tune with what's coming out and everything. When I really love a song or a record, or an album and collection of songs, for me, it's like the coolest thing to get to get the vinyl in the mail and to throw it on the vinyl on the record player. So I was super pumped to be able to do that, and just love how the album art and everything came out. Daryl Norson did the album art, and I just love everything that he does, and he's worked with a ton of just amazing artists that I look up to. So I was really pumped that he was willing to work with me on it.
Did you put it out on CD as well, or mostly just vinyl, and it'll be on digital?
Yeah. So it's out on digital, and it's out everywhere on digital. But vinyl and CDs are all for sale on my website, ShayMartinLovette.com, and that'll just take the person who clicks on that purchase now link to my Bandcamp page, where all that good stuff is for sale. But yeah, I just basically did a limited run of both CD and vinyl, and got a T-shirt also. It's not for sale yet, but it will be. That I'm pumped about, that Daryl Norson also did the art for.
So you said the album releases are going to be more in the fall, late summer, early fall, I guess.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. This is kind of the first, just kind of with everything, feeling optimistic about live music sort of opening back up and people going back out and buying tickets and that sort of thing again. I'm hopeful that everything will be kind of hopefully hitting back on all cylinders again in the fall, and I'll be able to get out and about and play those album release shows then. And by that time, the album will have been out for a few months now, or been out for a few months then. So that'll be exciting for, hopefully people will be also, the word will have spread and people will be familiar with the tunes then, which is, it's kind of a new thing when you play album, normally when you play an album release show, they're hearing it for the first time. So I'm interested to see what that dynamic will be like with the album being out for a few months.
Yeah, it's so weird to think about that too. Like, that we all kind of just have to like roll with the punches and you still got to have a timeline to release it, and then hope that, you can still get a album release going. I've seen a lot of people that just haven't had album releases even in their hometown or anything like that, that are still hitting the road. I had Volk on this past week, and they haven't even, their home base is here in Nashville, and they haven't even thought about doing a record release show, and they already have like 2 months of shows booked. It's crazy. Right.
Yeah. It's definitely sort of it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out and when we kind of feel like we get back to a place, just regular, kind of like how we were pre-pandemic, but I'm super optimistic at this point. So, and it's just a great, it's a great time of year. I feel like the seasons are kind of aligning with the optimism, and things are warming up, and it's almost summer. So I'm just excited for what's to come, really.
Yeah. It's really an exciting time to be, after that year of just nothing. It's great to finally be able to kind of look towards the future and think that there might be actually something coming.
Yeah, you got it.
But you had to sell your camper to fund this album, huh?
Yeah. So and it actually in the song on the first, actually the opening track on the album, "Fierce and Delicate Things," one of the lyrics in the chorus is, "I took freedom down the boulevard," and so it actually named that camper van Freedom, and so it's forever in a song now. So I don't own the camper anymore, but got it locked into that lyric, which is, it's always fun to think about the adventures that I had in the camper. But yeah, it was it was kind of a bittersweet relationship with it, with the camper. It had broken down on me, quite a few times, and got into some sticky situations, but also just had so much fun, traveling from place to place and kind of, having that mobile rig and being able to crash wherever, and that sort of thing. But it was time to let it go. And it's one of those things where I'm just, it's cool. It feels right to me that it kind of went, those funds kind of went back into that, to, my number one, passion really in life, and back into the music, into releasing the album, and that, and all that goes into that. So was happy to be able to have, to kind of tack that into the song. So just always, cue up some awesome memories, but also to be able to support my music career with that money.
Yeah. So did you tour with Freedom previously? Was that like your kind of like tour camper?
Yeah, somewhat. It was kind of off and on. I've had whenever I could, really, I would stay pretty local. I wouldn't get too far out of North Carolina with it. It was a 91.
Yeah.
And had some character, we'll say that. And so yeah, had a few interesting breakdowns, some blowouts. That camper was really top heavy, and so there was a couple times where the back tires blew out, and it literally sounded like a shotgun was going off. Oh man. But yeah, all things considered, just looking back on it, beautiful times. But and yeah, touring in that van definitely was, being able to hop out and then crash was in some back in 2019 was, yeah, looking back on that now was so much fun.
Yeah, I toured with a friend of mine out of Austin a couple of times, and he has an RV, and it's just so great to you always got to find an RV park, I guess, but just to be traveling in where you're sleeping. Yeah,
totally. That was one thing that I love about a camper van, and is being able to slide it, incognito into a parking spot on that, and then pull the shades, and that's night from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely something to be said about the luxuries of being able to find a legit camping space.
When you were out on the road, were you taking a band with you, or were you going solo?
It kind of depended on the gig. I would say most of them were kind of I would say I'm kind of in between, or when it wouldn't be a full band, it would be like a duo or a trio setup. But yeah, I would say about half where it felt like they were about a duo or trio. And then the other half were probably split between full band and solo shows.
So you had a EP with your brother, called the Lovette Brothers, which, but your brother, I guess. Well, I'll let you tell the story.
Yeah. So I'm not even sure how many years ago that was. Now that we put the EP out, I think it was actually I do around 5. But yeah, my brother Chad passed away in 2016. Just has had a huge impact on my life and inspired me in so many ways. But yeah, it was actually right after he passed away is when the EP came out. He played bass and sang harmony on that EP that's out there on Bandcamp. I'm still the Lovette Brothers, and it's actually out there for download for free. But yeah, he passed away from brain cancer, just sort of out of nowhere, and yeah. I can't say really enough good things about him. He was just my hero through just, for forever, kind of be the inspiration of my life and just sort of living and helping me to live in the moment and recognize the beauty in life. He was just so strong and persevered through this cancer, through his battle with cancer. It's one of those things that he claimed to be an eternal optimist. And I try to practice that as well. And to maintain a sense of optimism and try to find beauty in, all things. There's things that are easy to find beauty in, and there's some things that you have to really dig and search for to find beauty or a lesson in or something to take away that could make you better or stronger. And Chad was, just so good at that, and just a talented musician, just amazing guy. So yeah, he really inspires me to this day. And when I'm writing, I still think, of course, I think of him. And so that's a little bit of the background on the Lovette brothers and Chad's story.
Man, yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, but that's awesome that he was such a positive influence in your life.
For sure.
Is your family, besides you and Chad, very musical? Did y'all grow up doing music?
Yeah, my dad is a songwriter. We sort of grew up. I remember at a young age, being just kind of blown away. My mom had given my dad a little, a couple hours in a studio or something, and to make some demos and that sort of thing. And he just did some acoustic demos with him on acoustic guitar and vocal. And they were recorded on a tape. And I just remember at a very young age, riding around in his truck, and him plopping the tape in and hearing his original songs and vocal come across the speakers, and sort of blew me away. That he just made those up and was really inspired by that. And then I kind of took some guitar lessons when I was really young, but really didn't revisit songwriting again, like I was saying, until high school. And then right away picked up the guitar and started gravitating towards trying to express myself in some way, and get it down on a page.
Was Chad writing for the Lovette brothers as well?
He didn't write any of those songs. He actually did. I did record one of Chad's songs on my first record, and it's the song that song is titled "Heat Lightning," and that's just one of my favorite songs to play live. It just reminds me of Chad and all the good times that we had, and yeah, it's just such a beautiful, sweet metaphor. In the chorus of that song, it's always was so mysterious to me. The first time I heard it, that Chad played that for me, it sort of blew me away.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah,
I am. Yeah, like I was saying, I'm still hoping to be able to put out at least a single or two in the fall, which I'm excited about. Some of the songs that I'd written when there was really nothing going on. I feel like the songs sort of align. They're sort of I don't know how to explain it. Sort of a rustic, smoky, folky type sound, and I'm excited to kind of align and release those in the fall time when it's perfect campfire weather and the leaves are changing and that sort of thing. So as for new music, we'll see, but that would be the goal. But other than that, yeah, I'm really just looking forward to getting busy back, playing shows again, and also just finding time to finish up a few more songs and really get back after it, and making another album or chipping away at another album. I failed to mention that this album, Scatter and Gather, it was ready. It's been in the can for over a year. It was ready to come out in the summer of 2020. So yeah, I'm chomping at the bit to be able to get out and perform these, and to then to also add some even newer songs to my live set, and hopefully get in the studio on with as well. But yeah, we'll see. I would just say if anybody would like to know where I'll be next, or more information about kind of background info on the recording process, what I'm up to, and that sort of thing, you can just follow me on my social media pages. It's just all of them are Shay M Lovette, Shay Martin Lovette. That's what the M stands for. And yeah, the records and CDs they're only for sale on my via my Bandcamp or via the link on my website. If you and then of course they're streaming everywhere now. So go out and hop into the streams, take a swim with them.
Yeah. So the vinyl's already ready to be ordered. It's available now.
It is. Yeah. I've been shipping vinyl. The album came out on May 14th. And I've been shipping vinyls every week so far. So hopefully, like I said, there's a limited run of 200, and it's been so cool to have folks pre-order the album, and then having some orders come in after the album release. And I can't thank everybody enough for listening to the album thus far.
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm really enjoying it. I'll have to get it on vinyl for sure. Were you able to squeeze all 12 songs onto the vinyl? Because I know that that's one of the struggles I'm having with my next record that's coming out, is getting everything to fit in that like 44 minutes.
Totally. Yeah. It was, for mine, it like snuck in. It's funny you ask. I was actually worried about that when we recorded it, because we landed on 12 songs and of course, when you're in the studio and you're in the heat of the moment, you're not thinking about what it's gonna how it's gonna fit onto wax. But the album came in right over 40 minutes, so it was actually perfect. I don't know, I was lucky that it wasn't 13 songs or something, or that one wasn't like a super long, like Bob Dylan 8-minute ballad or something, so that it was able to squeak onto one to the one vinyl. But that's funny. That's one of those challenges I think the average listener would not be aware of.
Yeah, it's serious, because then like even with order, like, because if you have that one long song like you're talking about, it's like 4 or 5 minutes long, it may not fit on side A, but you really want it to be on side A, so you got to like figure out how to. That's the problem I'm running into now.
Oh man, yeah, that's rough for sure. Yeah, because sequencing is a whole nother side of it. It's like when it comes to like that sort of thing, an album flow, and thinking about that. Yeah, it's songwriter problems, man. It's I really love the sequencing of this record. I got to tip the hat to Joseph Terrell for doing the sequencing. A lot of times, at least on my last record, I kind of went back and forth on all these different sequences of the songs. But Joseph sent over this sequence pretty early on, before we were done, and I loved it. I love the arc of the album, and although I feel like it covers several different genres, from indie folk to Americana and kind of roots bluegrassy folk, I feel like we were able to make it feel cohesive, and that was because of the way that Joseph had ordered the songs.
Yeah. And the order of the song, like, I feel like really matters, especially like in singer-songwriter stuff, because the ebb and the flow of the stories you're telling, and the tempos, and the everything. It really does matter, and there really is a best way for it to for people to keep wanting to repeat it.
For sure. There's some sort of formula that somebody hasn't written yet for that.
Yeah. Hopefully maybe you wrote it. Maybe I just need to study your new record and check it out.
Oh man. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. Your new record's great. Scatter and Gather. It's available on Bandcamp. So it's Shay. Is it Shay M Lovette .bandcamp?
Yeah. It's in my website, Shay. If you just want to go to shaymartinlovette.com, you can follow the link there. There's an order now button there to hop on and order as well. So Bandcamp or my website and we'll take you to the page.
Or check them out on tour with Mipso this coming month.
Yeah, it'll be in June. It's the 24th, 25th, and 26th right now. And then a couple North Carolina dates, and then in Galax, Virginia. So tickets are on sale now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. And we'll see you hopefully at Americana Fest. All
right, man. Yeah, really hope to see you then. Take care.
Hey, that's it for this episode of the Americana Station podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you go and rate and review on Apple Podcasts if that's how you listen. The more you rate and review, the more we get seen, and the more people are listening and get to hear great artists like Shay Martin Lovette. And Make sure that if you feel so inclined, this is a free podcast. I'm not making you pay for anything. But if you feel so inclined and you really enjoy it, go to willpayneharrison.bandcamp.com. You can become a VIP subscriber. You will get additional podcast content as well as demos and special recordings from yours truly. And we will be back soon with Tall Paul.